Okay, welcome back. Have another really interesting product information video here for everybody. My friend Don, who I mentioned before, did a video on the New York Central, or I'm sorry, on the Pennsylvania Railroad, battery boxes and other paraphernalia. Well, I asked him to do some New York Central stuff, and he did. And here are the results. Now these are, according to the New York Central, I'm going to use their terminology, these are all called steel cases. And I sent Don the drawings out of the New York Central Signal Department reference that I believe I purchased somewhere. And you can see the 7 items in front of us. So starting on the left, we have what is, I think I got these right. I'm sure if I don't, other New York Central experts will chime in. On the far left, we have the S8525 4-way, which is what it's called on the drawing. Next to that, we have the S8510 High Case One Door. Next to that, we have the it's also S8510 Low Case One Door. And then the final smaller case there is the S8500, and that is called a Terminal Box. Alright, so let me move over to the right of center, I guess, and to what I would call a relay case, but they call them steel cases. And the large one there on the right is the S8575 High Double. And then next to that is the S8550 High Single. Makes sense. And next to that, I believe it's the same drawing. I think it's the S8550. It's the Low Single. So those are the 7 items that Don did up, and they are beautiful. They are accurate. Again, I scaled them out, and they pretty much scale right to the drawings. And he's got the feet on them for the. Let me just kind of move over here. Let's see if I can. Again, I'm trying to do this with one hand with a terrible light and holding the camera. I'm trying to show you guys this stuff, so you can see. And I'll try to zoom in here. See if I can get in on this and focus. He's got the concrete support. Now on the back, on the top one there, you see that little lift ring? I actually drilled and put in a little lift ring just for fun. Uh-oh, I'm not going to focus. All right. Come back, come back. Okay. But it does have the mount. It's actually got the support around the back there. And then on the very bottom, where the cables come in, he's got the cable runs. And you really ought to compare these to the drawings. They look great. Alright, so I have these painted up. And you can see how they look. Now on that one there, I put a little dark rust dot up top. I didn't put the lift ring on all of these. I think I did it on 2 of them. And then the cases again, they look very, very good. They look really nice. Let me let's see if I can do this here. Stand by, just so you can see this. And these are so nice. He really deserves a much better videographer for this kind of stuff. But I just want to show you the side views, so you can see some of the details. I'll go this way on this one here. All right, and it's got the right shape for the top of the case, which I can't really show all that well. He's got the little, incoming cable entrance there. They're very nice. Again, for layout use, they're absolutely perfect. And these are, like I said, these are painted up. What I'll do is the next segment after this, I'll just kind of show you the way they come. I'm kind of just out of order, to be honest. And then we'll come back and we'll look at some of these that I weathered up, and I'll show you the actual paints and whatnot that I use for them. But again, these are beautiful, beautiful items, and I'll put Don's contact information down in the description of the video for anyone that might want to contact him directly for some New York Central steel cases. Alrighty, so here's the set that I have ready to be primered. I have them cleaned up, a little bit of filing, a little bit of knifing, a little bit of sanding. This is how they show up here with all the various supports on them. You have to carefully, very carefully trim them away. I didn't break anything, so it looks worse than it is. You just gotta I come in with a sprue cutter, a flush cutter, and just kind of snip them. And then eventually, to be honest, it just kind of pops out. And then they're like, oh, okay, it didn't break. Good, okay, nothing broke. So, all right. So then you get them in this state. Now this is a low to the, okay, let's go to where we can see it. So that's a low to the ground one. Now the extension down there below is for planting. He left it on there. You could cut it off if you want, but that gives you a little something, especially if you're going, through scenery into foam. Really easy just to poke a little hole and boom, and plant that bad boy right in there. So it also has a little cable run coming up to the bottom of the cabinet, and that's kind of cool. Okay, just to cover it, this is what I do. I'm sure other folks will have different methods, but when I first get them in from Don, I will, again, cut them out of their little cages, clean them up a little bit, get some of the flash off, although there's really not a lot, to be honest. Maybe sand a couple areas that might need some sanding and whatnot, but there's very little cleanup, sanding, filing that's needed. Take them up. I will kind of wash them in a little bit of water with some dish soap, let them dry, and then I prime them. And what I'm using for primers are either, I've used both, the Tamiya, well, whatever it is. I'm going to say Tamiya. It sounds better to me. They're a gray surface primer, or what I'm kind of settling on now is the Vallejo Hobby Paint. It's a gray color, gray, and they have probably could use other colors if you wanted to. It may not even need to prime them, but that's what I'm using. And of course, the Hobby Spray comparably is much cheaper than the Tamiya spray. But anyway, so I do that, let it dry. Then I'll come downstairs and I will start with, again, Tamiya, whatever, XF16 flat aluminum. Great. It's a great paint. It goes on very well. Sometimes these aluminum, silver, bronze, gold, brass type of paints are really a nitnoid pain to deal with, but this is great. It goes on nice, covers nice, and a good paint. So I use that as my aluminum. For the concrete, I use Vallejo chalk white. So if I can get in there and see the numbers. It's in their train color line, but it's 73.006. For the black, anything that's kind of grimy black, this is grimy black. You don't need Floquil anymore. 70.862, black gray. I'm telling you, it's grimy black. Just trust me. And then for some of the other weathering, I'll use some Ammo of MIG pigments. Metal slag, I really like that one. Track rust. And that's Russian earth, but really any kind of brownish, darker earth, burnt sienna, whatever, just to kind of, or burnt umber, anything just to kind of break the silver. It doesn't really matter, just whatever you feel like using. You could, of course, also use acrylic washes, wash down a nice rust color, or you can even make a wash out of the grimy black, the black gray, and do that. But I don't worry about it. Again, these are the ones down here. The comparison of the plain aluminum to the weathered with the chalks. And again, this is modeler's choice, whatever you want to do. So that's the way I handle them. I like to do a bunch at once just because, it takes some time to noodle around with it all. But then I get them done and they're ready for the layout. Okay, here's the three different, normal cases, I guess I'll call them, the kind of the relay type cases. And what I can do, there's the front and back. These are primered, not painted aluminum yet, but sometimes it kind of shows the detail. Pretty nice. So I'm just going to kind of come over here and let you get a nice look. I'll get as close as I can before I lose focus on this camera. Alright. And that's the high double case, the front and the back. It's got, you know, door hinges and latches and louvers. There's the high single. And then the lower case. Front and back of each. Again, very well done. I don't think you're going to find anything better than this out there. Especially if it's, you know, details for the layout. I know sometimes these things kind of get lost in the shuffle when you've got a fully, you know, scenic and detailed layout, but they look great. They really do. And once they're not there, then you miss them. So, all right. So those are the primered versions of the standing cases, front and back. Alrighty, there you go. There's the New York Central steel cases. Hopefully it was interesting. Again, I can highly recommend them. Don does great work. And again, here's the family up here from the leftmost in its cage, so to speak, as it comes in the door. And then plain old painted up ones, weathered ones, painted up aluminum standing cases, and the weather ones. Okay, there you go. Any questions, let me know, and I will leave Don's contact information down below for those that may wish to reach out to him and get some of these for your own layout.